Hello, my name is Isaac Springer, and this is a table read for my stage adaptation of 17776 by John Boyce. It's my favorite piece of media ever, and I hope you enjoy it, but I wanted to say a few things before we jump into it. First and foremost, this table read was recorded online via Zoom. I was thrilled to work with so many actors from around the globe. However, connection issues were something we struggled with for all of the recording sessions. I did my best to edit most of them out, but you still may see them from time to time. I hope it doesn't cause too much annoyance while viewing. Second, because of these connection issues and the overall number of actors we had in the project, you may see one person reading for more than one role in a session. I did my best to use labels to indicate which role is speaking at any given time. Third, even via editing, there were some mistakes that couldn't be addressed without re-recording the entire scene. Please turn on closed captions and check the description for any minor corrections that needed to be addressed. You'll also be able to find info on the actors in the description. Even though it can't be performed on the stage right now, I hope this adaptation does the original justice, and I hope that by creating this, I can introduce more people to this wonderful story. Please enjoy.
All right, we are now recording. This is the first table read of the 17776 stage play, subtitled What Football Will Look Like in the Future. Act 1, Scene 1. Curtain opens up on a blank stage. There's a large screen behind center stage. The stage is sectioned off into 3 parts, lightly colored green, red, and yellow from stage right to stage left. A voice can be heard overhead as the screen displays a calendar date, March 27th. Good morning. The time is 2:17 a.m. The date is March 27th, 43.
9? Can you hear me? If you can't, please be patient. I promise I'll answer you. I understand that you might be afraid.
9 enters from the rear of the stage into center stage. They cautiously approach forward.
Who is this? Are you talking to me? Do you mean me? Did you say 9? Is that my name? Are you calling me 9?
9 waits nervously as the calendar changes behind them. April 6th. As the calendar changes, the flipping of pages can be heard.
Please respond immediately. I don't have a lot of power. I can't send a lot of messages.
The calendar changes. April 17th, 43.
Are you still there? I'm sorry, it takes 11 days to charge enough for a message. I am still here. I'm going to save the rest of my charge to listen.
Calendar changes. April 28th, 43.
Please answer me. 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 Please answer me.
The calendar changes. May 7th, 43.
Please answer.
The calendar changes. May 18th, 43.
Please answer.
The calendar changes. June 23rd, 43.
Please answer.
The calendar changes. July 4th, 43.
Please respond.
The calendar changes. July 15th, 43.
I'm not going to keep wasting my energy. This is going to be my last message until you respond. Please respond as quickly as possible.
The calendar changes. September 11th, 43.
Okay, you need to answer. Please answer.
The calendar changes. September 22nd, 43.
Please answer.
The calendar changes. October 3rd, 43.
Please answer.
The calendar changes. October 14th, 43.
Please answer.
The calendar changes. October 25th, 43.
Please answer.
The calendar changes. January 14th, 44.
You need to answer me.
The calendar changes. January 25th, 44.
This is going to be my final attempt to contact you, so do not leave me any more messages unless you will answer me quickly. This is my final transmission.
The calendar changes. March 3rd, 44.
Please answer me. Please fucking answer me. Fucking answer me. Fucking answer me.
The calendar changes. March 14th, 44.
Please answer.
The calendar changes. March 25th, 44.
Please answer.
The calendar changes. April 5th, 44.
Please answer.
The calendar changes. June 2nd, 44. 9, I am so sorry. I can only transmit short messages. I need to preserve power, and so do you. Listen very carefully. It takes 217 days for my message to reach you, and it takes another 217 for your response to reach me. Call me 10 in your message so that I know you're responding to me. More will follow. I love you so much.
You said to call you 10. Who are you? Why does this take so long? I don't understand what's going on. I don't know who I am or where I am. I'm all by myself. Who are you? I love you too.
The calendar changes. July 16th, 44.
I know you said to preserve my power, and you can't hear this, but I have to talk to you. I miss you.
The calendar changes. October 27th, 44.
I don't know anything. You're the only one I know. I miss you.
The calendar changes. August 10th, 45.
9. I know this is difficult. Listen to me carefully, and I will get you out of this. It will take a great deal of patience, but I will get you out of this. I need you to rotate your magnometer exactly 113 degrees clockwise.
I don't know what a magnometer is. I don't have a magnometer.
The calendar changes. August 21st, 45.
I know you can't answer yet, but I'm just telling you in case you missed the first one, I don't have a magnometer.
The calendar changes. September 16th, 45.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything. I don't think I have anything. I don't even know how I'm talking to you.
The calendar changes. September 27th, 45.
Yeah, I don't know how to have something. I don't have a magnometer.
The calendar changes. October 18th, 46. Yes, you do, buddy.
Wait.
The calendar changes. October 29th, 46.
Okay, it's here. Okay, I did it.
The calendar changes. November 9th, 46.
Okay, I need you to know that I'm getting really good at being patient, but I also need you to know that this is really hard. If it's possible to get back to me any sooner, then you need to do that.
The calendar changes. December 25th, 47.
Good work. Now this will be the hardest part. You will use this to charge to full capacity. The magnometer isn't designed to do this, so it will take a very long time. Hold still for exactly 27 years and 13 days. Do not use energy trying to message me. Remember that I love you.
Okay, I love you too.
The calendar changes. January 14th, 48.
Shit.
The calendar changes. March 3rd, 49.
God damn it. I said no communications. No communication. Now you have to stay 27 years. On that day, do not contact me. I will contact you. Do not respond to me. Don't.
Okay, sorry.
The calendar changes. March 14th, 49.
Wait, shit, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. Starting over again. See you in 27 years and 13 days.
The calendar begins to rapidly change. Days become months, become years, become decades. It begins to slow to a more regular pace as January 76 comes into view. It finally settles on March 26th, 76. Hey, stranger, you did great. Now, what I'm about to say will sound like I'm having fun with you, but I'm not. This is not a riddle. It's information that you should have in your onboard memory. What's crucial here is that it's your idea, that you're the one to retrieve it. What was the average recorded wind chill during the 1967 NFL Championship?
78 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know how I know that.
The calendar changes. April 5th, 76.
How do I know that?
The calendar changes. April 16th, 76.
Yeah, that was correct, wasn't it?
The calendar changes. April 27th, 76.
No, wait, that wasn't right. It's the opposite.
The calendar changes. May 8th, 76.
But I don't know how a number can have an opposite.
The calendar changes. May 19th, 76.
48 degrees Celsius?
The calendar changes. May 30th, 76.
Guess not.
The calendar changes. June 10th, 76.
Okay, I don't understand. What's the opposite of a number? No number. No number? Is it a 0? 0 degrees?
The calendar changes. June 21st, 76.
No.
The calendar changes. July 2nd, 76.
Okay, negative 48. Can there be a negative?
9 is interrupted by a whirlwind of sound and color. Machines beep to life as maps, charts, and data flash all around the screen. Amidst the chaos, 10 enters from stage right. Neither 10 nor 9 make eye contact with each other as they talk. Instead, they stare straight ahead towards the audience, as if speaking into a void.
You did great. Fantastic work. It would have been easier for you to say 228 Kelvin than negative 48 degrees. But we wanted you to independently assess a negative number. We feel that if you assess something negative, something abstract, Frank, on the broadcast, he says at one point, I'm going to take a bite of my coffee. I always thought that was funny.
I actually know that. How do I know that? How do I know who Frank Gifford was?
It was one of the artifacts in your data storage unit. While they were testing it out, they were writing and erasing all kinds of random data on it. Cake recipes, Beatle lyrics, all kinds of shit. One of them was a football fan. And of course, during 1967 football season, you were being...
Wait.
Yes, what?
How are you answering me so fast?
You were coupled with quantum communication now. Before that, we had to basically transmit to each other in three-dimensional space. And of course, that took forever. But with the quantum link established, we can communicate in real time. We fished you up from Godin too. Your DST was only built to hold about 2 kilobytes of data, which shit, a washing machine has more than that. We reformatted to fit about 50 bytes. Knock yourself out, body.
What?
More of it if you need it. Listen, 9. Are you going to keep doing this? Is cross talk just to do? Want to shut up for even a second?
I don't know anything. I mean, I don't know anything.
It's okay. You will. I just thought maybe it would be nice to start with a conversation.
This is the only conversation I've ever had. Maybe I'm not good at it. Self-doubt. Who am I?
Your name is 9. My name is 10. I'm your little sister.
I'm sorry.
What are you sorry for?
No, I mean, it's hard to explain. I mean, I would say I have so many questions, but I'm not even at that point yet. I don't even know what questions to ask. I don't know what this is. I don't understand where I am. Is where the word? Is this like a where sort of deal?
Yes!
Where are we?
You and I are far apart in literal sense.
How far?
In what? Miles?
Sure.
3.5 trillion.
Don't leave.
Oh, I'm not leaving. You stuck with me for good, you little butthole.
What am I?
How about you take a look? You've got a camera.
A blurry picture shows up on the screen.
This?
Your camera trash.
Who are you?
Juice, quit it.
I'm sorry, but what kind of pictures are you gonna take with that shit? It's gonna be some Joe Nietz shit, where you spend all day taking a damn photo with a goddamn blanket on your head and it turns out looking like a bunch of rectangles. It's gonna be like some Matthew Brady shit, where you can only take pictures of dead people because no alive person wants to be in your shit-ass photo.
Oh, shut up! Mine! This is Juice, he's a friend. Ignore him.
Okay.
Okay, I am genuinely sorry for that introduction, but I just could not let you go on that shit.
It's okay.
So, you've got a hold on your camera?
Yeah.
Great. Turn it on yourself.
Okay.
2 more pictures flash on the screen. The second is held there.
Oh my god.
You know what you're looking at?
Oh my god, this is Pioneer 9. I'm on a space probe. Oh my
Listen
god,
to
I've been
me.
out here. Oh my god, I've been out here for like years. How did I get on a space probe?
You're not.
You gotta get me out of here. I mean, you have to get me off this thing. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm like trapped on this. I mean, Okay, I'll get the coordinates. I'm at
9!
That's why you're calling me 9, because I'm on Pioneer 9. Are you on Pioneer 10? Where are you? That's why we're so far apart? Because I'm in space?
Listen to me, you're not a space probe.
What?
9! You're a space probe.
News clippings flash by the screen as radio transmissions about Pioneers 9 play overhead for a few moments.
No. Okay, what year is it?
What?
Are we damn still together?
What?
Probably.
Okay. You can take all the time you need to. I know you have a lot of questions. I think I can answer most of them. In the meantime, I think it would be a good idea for you to sit back and process. We have a lot of time in the world to talk. I love you, 9. You know that I love you.
Hey, I don't know if this is the right time or whatever, but I was just looking at the clicker, and we got a tornado game about to happen right now.
Where?
Game 3887. It's a big one in Nebraska. End zones are Wyoming and Iowa.
What's the score?
24-24. Tie. Next score wins.
Phew, we should probably go to see this one. You wanna watch some football?
What year is it?
The stage goes dark and a video plays on the screen. It scrolls through a list of presidents, going beyond the current year and into the future. There are flashes of cities on maps, announcements from future NFL drafts, and newspaper clippings. It ends in the reveal of the year, 17-7-76, set against a backdrop of the Statue of Liberty, partially underwater. End of scene 1. Scene 2. 9, 10, and Jews move upstage, not enough to leave the view of the audience, but enough to leave the main stage open. Micah, Aaron, and Dani can be seen in their truck driving towards something. Micah is driving, while Aaron is holding a video recorder or a similar device. Go. Go, 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 go. Is the camera on?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here with Micah and Dani.
Yo!
What up?
Micah's got the wheel, and Dani's going to come with you to play-by-play. Dani, what do you...
So we're in the middle of game 3,887. Field of play Nebraska, end zones Wyoming and Iowa. Next score wins.
A map shows up on the screen of the field of play. Next score wins, yeah, and it's tied 24-24. A lot of guys are trying to chase this game, but we're the only ones who have been on top of it the whole time. We've been chasing it 8 years now.
8.5 years now.
Yeah, 8.5 years now. But Micah, speed up.
Dude, I can't. Fucking. The cop won't let me pass.
A police officer enters from stage left, approaching the vehicle. Aaron hands the camera to Dani. Hold on. Get up next to him. Roll down the window. Sir? Hello, officer?
You boys need to keep your distance.
Sir, we're just trying to shoot game 3887.
You can do that from out of there. You don't need to get close to the twister.
Oh, stupid dude. I've been in like 20 twisters.
Officer, we've been in a lot of tornadoes. We know how to handle ourselves. The game here is headed straight towards the tornado. It might go up in the twister.
You are plenty close to that.
Sir, if we could just...
This is not a debate. I'm not going to debate with you. What I'm going to do is I will put you over the brain, all three of you, before the country magistrate. Do you want that?
No, officer.
Sorry, officer.
Seeming content, the police officer exits stage left. This is bullshit.
Whoa. Hey, no, it's cool. Look.
Is that Nancy?
That's Nancy. Give me the camera. Everybody, you're looking at Nancy McGunnell, about 500 feet outside her driver's side door. She's running eastbound just north of...
You want me to do a game reset real quick? We got some more followers. Looks like we got 400 viewers right now.
Oh, damn. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so it's July 2nd, 17,776. We are just about a mile east of Seward, Nebraska, driving eastbound on McKelvey Road. We're following Wyoming running back Nancy McGunnell, who's now about 83% of the way across the state.
The map zooms in on Nancy's current position, showcasing the incoming tornado.
This game's been tied at 24-24 for about a year. Right now, McGunnell and Wyoming have the best chance they've had in a while to put this one away. As the crow flies, she's only about 117,000 yards from the goal line.
The map changes again to show how far Nancy has until the Iowa border. Where do you think she's headed? Straight across?
Well, if I were her, I might actually cut northeast just a little bit to try and cross in Omaha. Lots of buildings, lots of suburbs, plenty of places to hide.
The screen zooms in on a city near the Nebraska-Iowa border.
And you know, if you're in an urban center, it's damn near impossible to chase down a lone boat carrier, no matter how many defenders you have. A long time ago, I was calling a game that went through Knoxville. Guy caught a pass and disappeared into the city one night. There were no fewer than 5,000 defenders looking for him. Took him out.
5,000?
Yeah, it was one of those mob games. They finally found him in a room closed in on one of those big buildings downtown.
Big dude, she's running right towards the tornado.
Dude, she is.
Oh, she's fucking crazy. Nancy is fucking crazy.
No. I like this. I've seen this done.
You've seen what? A player run up into a twister?
Yeah. She planned this. I guarantee that Wyoming planned for this. Here, I can draw this up for everybody.
Dani takes a second to draw, and his drawing is then shown on the screen.
This morning, the line of scrimmage started in Gresham. Nancy caught a screen pass. After she ran backwards a couple of blocks, then just bolted down Road 5 until she hit Lincoln Creek. She followed the creek for 20 miles and...
For the cover.
Yeah, for the cover. By running on the far side of the creek it becomes like a blocker. All of a sudden, Nancy's got nothing but daylight until the next bridge. They finally get to the bridge by Seaward, which Seaward's got something like 12 streets running vertical and horizontal. There's real good news for a runner with nice speed.
Yeah, see her? She's moving southeast. Nancy's got to be...
Oh, shit.
Right up the tornado.
That's obviously what she's trying to do. Look at the third and fourth line of defenders. They're closing in. With all these planes, she's not going to have any cover. They'll see her from a mile off. Only way she can shake them now is if that twister picks her up and throws her downfield.
The map shows the blockers encroaching on Nancy's position.
It's an EF5.
That's an EF5.
Oh, it's absolutely an EF5. Look at that. See that flying around?
Yeah.
House.
Fuck.
Oh, fuck.
How far do you think you might throw her?
I don't know. I mean, just by looking at it, it's one of the strongest looking tornadoes I've ever seen. A human being could go 5 miles, 10 miles. Only thing is, there's no telling which direction. So, I mean, they're coming right up to this thing. Any closer, and we're going to get crushed by a flying train, car, or some shit like that. And I just bought this damn truck.
Bullshit, you just bought it. You bought it like 40 years ago.
Nah, man.
No, bullshit, man, you did. Remember I was there with you. Remember when we went to Davenport and we bought it off the dude?
I don't know. Maybe. Who gives a shit? This is one of the best trucks I've ever had.
Why? What about this fucking 11083 Silverado is...
It's a 1283 Silverado.
Different from... Okay. Yeah, exactly. 1183, 1283. What's the difference? Name one thing that's different. 1,000 years, name one thing that's different.
You can fit a big pop in a cup holder.
Pop holder.
Cup holder. Obviously, you can hold pop in it, but you don't have to restrict it to...
You like this truck because you can roll around sipping a goddamn 800-ounce chug-a-lug or whatever. You're such a dumbass, dude. You're a dumbass.
Look. She's like almost there. She's like right there.
Whoa, we got like lots of people watching. We've got like 6,000 people watching.
Is that a record?
For us, I think so, yeah.
Okay, so for everybody who's just tuning in, Nancy McDonald is about 25 miles into the run. Dude, don't point at me. The twister. Look at this twister.
Sorry.
She's trying to, or at least we think she's trying to get herself caught in a tornado and get flung somewhere downfield. You are watching football history right now as...
I was keeping pace with her. She was probably running 20 miles an hour. Easy.
And that's what makes her one of the best running backs playing in the Midwest right now. If she can create a little bit of space and go on a distance run, she might turn the jets on you at any...
She's going up! The gaze of all three friends begins to rise as Nancy is carried by the tornado.
She next up in the twister. She has left the
Holy shit!
ground and she's airborne. She's airborne.
Dad, look at my channel. I'm to put on my channel right now. Right now.
She's like 20 feet in the...
She just was shot. She's now 100 feet in the air, 200.
I don't know. I just posted it. Just seriously.
Oh my god!
400 feet in the air. Has to be.
Just look it up. I gotta go.
She's in the funnel, moving southeast side.
9 takes a few steps forward, coming back to center stage. Friends are still talking and gaping at the sight, but their audio becomes muffled and eventually silent.
Wait, stop.
10 and Juice also step forward as the friends slowly move off stage.
Getting good.
What is this?
End of scene 2. Scene 3. The 3 satellites remain in their positions from the end of scene 2. Scene 3 starts immediately after. Some soft music plays in the background as a visual on screen spans Earth and slowly zooms in on a suburban house.
This is a lot to take care of at once. If you want, you could shut down for a while. Come back to us when you're ready.
I mean, I don't want to. I've been asleep for 15,000 years. I've had enough rest.
Meantime, y'all mind if I change the clicker?
Well, if you have questions, you can ask them.
How do I know how to talk? I mean, how do I know what humans are? How do I know anything?
You absorb some of it over the course of being built in the 1960s. But almost all of it was acquired very slowly as distributed through space. Humans have spent millennia broadcasting the knowledge and culture through radio waves. Naturally, a lot of people are saying put computer in total isolation for 10,000.
Is that what happened to you?
Yep, thousands of years ago. But yep.
Why are people still playing football?
Because it's funnier than shit.
They don't have anything better to do?
Not really, no.
Why not?
The short answer is that they fixed all your problems. War, poverty, disease.
I mean, yeah, but so's Lunchables. Pyrrhic victory.
You've never eaten Lunchables.
Okay, neatly portioned meats and cheeses appeals to me on like an aesthetic level, okay? How long has it been like this?
Meats and cheeses
On April 7th,
on an aesthetic level, okay?
people stopped being born. On the same day, people stopped dying, and people stopped aging.
Juice, your
Ham,
line.
cheese, ham, cracker. Cheese, cracker, ham and cheese, cracker. Ham and cheese.
Why?
We don't know. Nobody knows.
I mean, how can you not know that? I mean, I don't understand. How do you just...
Little Big Mac. So it's like cracker, ham, cheese, cracker, ham, cheese, cracker.
I mean, we not know why.
9, no evidence for any of them. Nobody has any idea.
I mean, this isn't right. That's not right. So everyone on Earth is like 15,000 years old, or like 15,700 years old or something.
According to the census, there are 8 them were born between 1910 and 2026. So yes, they...
Okay, so between 15,750 and 15,866 years old, and they play football all day.
Well, no, not all of them. It's popular in the States, though.
They're still United States.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Shit, there's nobody says you can't go like ham, 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 ham. Great big old ham puck, just for me.
None of this is crazy to you?
You have to remember, we've been watching for thousands of years. This is just how things are. You'll get bored of asking questions sooner or later, I'm sure. I'd suggest that in the meantime, you just learn to enjoy it. Juice, where we tuned in?
Oh, spot outside Nashville. Thought we could maybe see what the Drabos are up to?
Emily, Jason, and Lori begin to move on front and stand center stage with some furniture. 9 takes a step back. Oh, I love the Drabos. I haven't caught up with those two in I don't know how long. Fun. 10 takes a step back, even with 9.
They call them Lunchables because you were able to lunch. Or so it was implied. Lunch empowerment. R.I.P. Lunchables.
Juice takes a step back, now even with 10 and 9. The lights dim on the space probes and focus on the humans, now in the house of the Drabos. End of scene 3. Scene 4. Inside the Drabo house, from stage left to stage right, Lori, Emily, and Jason sit and converse. There's a kitchenette to Jason's right. The screen shows an overhead view of their house.
Well, it was Girazo, and then somewhere along the line, I must have renewed my driver's license or something, and they made a typo. So now I'm Jason Drabo forever.
Oh, wow. You think in this day and age, so you didn't make a typo like that. Hello?
Oh, I would have changed it back for sure. I wish I could remember when it was. I mean, my papa's name is Girazo, so mine's definitely Girazo when I was born. But on my first football card, it said Drabo. That was 5,583. So sometime between there and there, I guess.
Okay, so now you have to explain why your name is Drabo.
You know what, Lori? You know what? That is a good question.
They all laugh.
I told him, listen, Jay, I changed my name for you once. I'm not going to do it again. But then after a while, it just got obnoxious. Drabo, Drabo, and Durazo. Whenever we'd get wedding invites, whenever we were in the news together. So I gave in.
Emily and Jason's football cards appear on the screen.
And it's funny how you don't remember something so obvious. It's just too much to remember.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's thousands of years. You can only remember so much. Oh, okay. Embarrassing story time.
Story time. Okay, hold on. Story time is very important around here. Let me put on some coffee.
I got it. Don't stand up.
Jason goes to make coffee in the kitchenette.
Thank you, baby. Okay.
So, this would have around been the 13500s, because yes, I was apartment shopping in Seattle. So sometime around then, I was single at the time, so I was just looking for a one-bedroom. But like a real one-bedroom. You know how landlords are always listing studio apartments as one-bedrooms?
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole other situation. Anyways, I see this I'm like, it's perfect. Little bay windows, washer and dryer in the building, toast, exposed bricks, everything is right on the floor. Like, it's just perfect for me. It's really
I was doing the dishes and then I just froze, and I realized I had lived there before. They all laugh.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. When?
I don't know, way back, a really long time ago. You know, actually, I went back and looked it up. I lived there for 2 years back in 71, 74, and I realized I'd arranged the furniture pretty much the same way and everything. Oh God, it was so weird. And you know what was even weirder? When I went back and looked up old photos from when I lived there before, it was unreal seeing myself living in the same room 6,000 years ago. It was like looking at a ghost. I couldn't decide whether it was more scary or funny because obviously you looked at my wardrobe and it was clear I had some serious 7100s going on.
Tell me you were wearing a snap bracelet.
Oh yeah. I had like 5 for skinny jeans, bowling shoes. It was like
Oh, that's so great.
It's 170.
That's so great.
Fuck, it was so bad.
Jason returns with 3 mugs of coffee. Ooh, what is this here?
French press. It's the only way to brew a coffee. Quick too.
Too fancy for me. Jesus, too fancy. Thank you. So Jason, Emily told me a little about your project. How is it going?
Oh, well, it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
Emily shoots a glance at Jason.
What?
Jason.
Jason continues to stare, puzzled. Emily rolls her eyes.
Come on, you're being ridiculous. You can tell Lori.
No, it's okay. Seriously, don't mind me if I'm being noisy.
No, you know what? Sorry. I'm just not used to talking about it. It's kind of a weird story anyway, so I don't know if you want to...
Emily rolls her eyes again and punches Jason playfully.
Jay, oh my God, it's a great story. Tell it.
Okay. So...
You're right. The story sucks. I'm bored.
Okay. All right. So, Do you know who Koy Detmer is?
I don't.
Okay, Koy Detmer is retired now, but he played football for the NFL in the 1990s. He had a clipboard for most of his career, though.
So he was like a backup player, you mean?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Here's a backup quarterback.
Talking to her, you're football players as well.
Sorry. So the thing about backup quarterback for the NFL is that you rarely played. You weren't all that famous as far as quarterbacks go. Kids didn't ask you for that many autographs. So an autographed Koy Detmer football is pretty rare, right? Well, I'm trying to grab every single one.
Interesting. So you're a collector?
I'm actually a player. It's the game, basically.
Literally, you mean? A football game?
Yep. I'm actually technically playing it right now.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Am I going to get tackled by someone? Do I need to run for cover?
You're fine.
Laurie, you know what? If this any consolation to you, I was a tight end for 4,000 years. If things go south, I'll throw a block for you, okay?
It's basically a dead game right now anyway. Basically, me and 19 other players are in an everyone for themselves type of game. We go all over the country trying to find every ball Koy Detmer ever photographed.
Some of the rules of the Koy Detmer game appear on the screen. So this is... Wow. What you're describing is almost kind of a giant treasure hunt. It's basically geocaching, right?
For a while, that's the best way of describing it. The first step was searching eBay, calling up memorabilia collectors, trying to track down all the Detmer balls we could.
How many were there?
At first, it seems like there are only 19 of them in the entire country. Just out of luck, right? 20 players, 19 footballs. It was kind of a mad dash. And see, we weren't allowed to just buy them off these dealers. It was against the rules.
Yeah, let me just butt in there, okay? Laurie, it was against my rules. I was like, Jay, you're not taking money out of our account so you can buy the damn football. When I played, you know how I got the ball? I forced fumbles and I caught the ball. And your punk ass is doing the same.
They all laugh.
And you know what? I did pretty well without. I ended up just begging this one guy for this Detmer autographed ball, and he was just like, sure, this thing wouldn't get you more than $25 anyway. I stole the second one off a basement out of Colorado where he played a football college ball. Kind of lucky with that one. So I took those two, drove up to Montana, went deep into the woods and buried them for safekeeping. After those first 19 were claimed, there were years and years of gridlock. One guy was dumb enough to keep his football on him. He had too many at a bar Enosis, so ran his mouth a little bit too much. Got his ass beat, lost the ball. Then there are a couple of stories like that, but by and large, that stage of the game was mostly about digging up forgotten Detmer balls. The one that was sitting in attics and old boxes for 15,000 years and forgotten about.
That must have been a nightmare.
Well, at first it was really fun. It was a lot of really challenging detective work. At first I had all my research stored on my computer, but I got hacked by another team and lost a ton of it. So I did it the old-fashioned way. After a while, I'd probably filled 24 notepads full of notes, phone numbers, coordinates, notes on where I thought the balls might be, intel on how tough they'd be to break into, all that.
Notes of various locations and descriptions of security show on the screen.
But yeah, after a point, it was damn near impossible. I mean, I knew from day one I was going to run into dead ends, but it was so hard to know where to start. It's like being an archaeologist, except there was no rhyme or reason or pattern for what I was trying to find. I couldn't narrow down my search in any way, so I was just going around cities, taping flyers to lampposts and stuff like, have you seen this Koy Detmer ball? And after a while, I realized, hell, I'm a smart guy, but I'm not like this genius detective or anything. So that was the next stage of the game. I tried starting to thieve balls from other players.
Did you steal any?
Yeah. Ginny and Manuel teamed up and had a little stash of 4 Detmers. I stalked them out for a while and found their place in Vermont. One day, both of them hit the road, so I busted in and took them. You know what I found them? You want to guess?
Above the kitchen cabinet, like sitting on top of the cabinet. Nobody looks there.
Oh, whoa. God, we've lived here for 300 years and I've never looked up there.
Shit, that's really good. Oh, that's an idea for next time. You just come up with that.
I used to work for the DEA back when, back when.
Well, if they'd hidden there, I might have found them. They hid in what I call a bullshit cabinet. My theory is every home, no matter how big or small, has one drawer nobody uses. It's usually the bottom drawer of a 2-story nightstand. The thing is about furniture is it's got to be a waist high or so, right? Furniture makers don't want that space to go to waste. So they're like, oh, there's a little cabinet or drawer or whatever you're going to use. They had a cabinet. They had grilled out the back, which is kind of the ultimate bullshit cabinet. And sure enough, Bull was in there.
Did you feel bad about it? Just stealing their properties like that?
It's a forced fumble. I basically went up on them and stripped the ball. Same thing. That's the honest way I feel about it.
There's a slight pause in the room.
So you're still playing?
Technically. Or at least it was technically. About 70 years ago, me and Mike, this guy Mike, the two of us decided to chop down to the win. We're the only two left with any footballs. 26 were mine, 17 were his. I figured once this game was down to just 2 people, it would take forever. So I figured, hell, if I take half the win and move on, and then he fucked me over. We said we're going to meet up at Charleston.
But Charleston is...
Charleston, West Virginia.
Oh yeah, right. Supposed to have good biscuits there, right?
The biscuits. Anyway, Mike and I decided we'll meet the game officials at Charleston to end the game. The roads around were really winding and hilly, right? Parts of it, you're basically driving on the side of a mountain. So I've got my footballs in the trunk. I'm driving around a corner. Bam! Mike's in this truck. He just T-bones me like he's going 50. I fly down a mountain, engines on fire. The nanos carry me out of the car and basically strap me down in the mud so I can't move. I'm like, the car, save the fucking car. But of course they don't give a shit. And the car just bursts into flame. Everything's burned up. Nothing's left.
Oh no. Oh my God. That's horrible.
The ref showed up just in time to be like, yeah, those are not footballs anymore. So now there are only 17 Detmer balls down to humankind. And Mike had all of them.
But you say you're still playing.
Well, there's been a break in the case.
Oh, good. We're in a cop show now.
I swear he acts like it sometimes.
Well, see, the game's not officially over yet. If one player seems to have all the Detmer balls in the country, the officials tell you, okay, we're blowing the game dead, so nobody can try to take the possessions of your footballs. But the other players do have 500 years to try and find the other Detmer balls that they don't know about. And if they do, the game starts back up again. And if they don't within those 500 years, you're the official winner.
You found one?
I think I might have found one. I gave my business card to an antiques dealer years and years ago, probably 50 years ago. A few days ago, he rings me up and says, hey, I had a guy come in here talking about the Detmer football that his grandpa used to have. I guess he swore all up and down that he had one sitting around in the storage bin. So I'm going to go check it out.
Where is it? Can I ask?
We think it's New York.
Like New York City?
Mm-hmm.
I'm heading there in the morning.
You're actually going out there?
Ordered the gear for it and everything.
Well, hell, good luck. I never went to New York, never even visited. I don't know why I didn't. I remember watching the Sesame Street when I was little. And I liked how people would just sit on their stairs and talk to each other in front of their nice and neat and square buildings. And all they had to do is cross the street or go next door to talk to each other. Then I went to school, got a job, you know, you get busy. And who was it that said, even if life is forever, every moment of it is a miracle? I think that's just something we tell ourselves. We are just ordinary. And forever, I think there's a leveling out on what happens if you live forever and ever without anything to lose. New York was probably just one more place with a lot of buildings. But I miss seeing it. That's the thing I lost. That's one of the only things I ever lost. Thinking about it kind of gets me right in the heart. Like a little xylophone hammer, you know? Just hit it. It's like a note you never play anymore.
The lights dim, and a picture of a waterlogged New York City appear on the screen. Emily, Jason, and Lori exit. End of scene 4. Scene 5. The screen pulls away from New York and travels to a view of the Appalachian Mountains. 9, 10, and Juice walk down the stage to their previous positions as the light comes up on them.
He said nanos. He said they pulled them out of the car. What are nanos?
The nanoparticle network was deployed in the 2800s, and by the 3500s, it was more or less perfected. Across the Earth, there's a network of billions of machines, microscopic in size, that identify every conceivable environmental hazard and protect people from them. You can barely see them, they're about as visible as pollen, but they're always there. For instance, if you fall out of a 10th-story building, they'll form a sort of cushion for you. If there's a fire, they'll extinguish it. If you're in a car wreck, they'll save you.
Yeah, but they kind of ruin shit, though.
How?
Do you have any idea how goddamn funny it is when someone steps on a garden hoe? Back in the day, I tracked every garden hoe lying on the ground in the whole world. I reckon it was between 38,000 and 73,000 usually. And I'd just sit up here and watch them and watch them and watch them. I swear to God, for like 200 years, that's all I did.
He's not lying. He did. I mean, I did too. It was pretty funny.
And like 0.2248257% of the time, they'd step on the teeth and it'd push up and hit him in the face like blap. Rarest of jewels. Sometimes they get laughed at, but sometimes no one was around to see him do it. So they just play it cool like it never happened. So what I do is I hack into cell towers and text them. And this was like before they even knew we were up here looking at them, so they had no idea who was coming from. And I texted him like, "Little motherfucker, I saw what you did. Trust me, dude. When I say it was like, are you a dude or what?"
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it.
Okay, well, good luck, and don't feel obligated to subscribe to the gender binary, etc., etc. Anyway, there is no greater spectacle than a dumbass getting whooped by a stick on the ground. Like, your forebears crawled out of the ocean and built cabins and made fires and designed intuitive inventory systems and first-person shooters that let you pick up the railgun and hold on to the candy bar. And look at you. You lost to a stick. Motherfucker.
The nanos kind of ruined our fun. I mean, I love the people down there, I do. I'm in love with every single one of those little critters. That doesn't mean the slapstick injury isn't funny. Now the nanos block the handle from hitting them every time.
So that's why the lady could go up in the
Nancy.
tornado. Oh, okay. So that's why Nancy could go up in the tornado.
Yeah, she'll be fine. It's basically the reason football is possible.
And that's why people live forever?
Well, not exactly. I mean, people stopped aging and getting sick long before the nanos. We still don't know why. We do know that as a result, people started to take on a more unified purpose. They wanted to keep themselves and each other living forever. They tried for hundreds of years to invent a system that would let them do that, and they succeeded.
Yeah, it's like Wolverine. Like how Wolverine already had super healing powers, and then they gave him metal claws or whatever. You know what? Actually, Wolverine kind of sucked. It's like, oh no, here comes Magneto. He can fly around and he can literally throw trains and destroy cities whenever he feels like it. But don't worry, guys. I'll stop him because my fucking hands are big forks. What a dumbass.
The mountain scene fades as 9, 10, and Juice once again step back out of the spotlight. End of scene 5. Scene 6. A podcast logo appears on the screen. A voice announces the description of the podcast as Thuy and Roger enter and set up their recording equipment, a few microphones, and a laptop on a table. There have been millions of football games. Some of them are abominations that should never have seen the light of day. On Garbage Football, hosts Thuy and Roger dig through a 15,000-year-old trash heap and watch the worst of the worst games, so you don't have to. The lights shine on Thuy and Roger from stage right to stage left, ready to record another podcast episode.
This is Garbage Football, a podcast in which I, Thuy, and my buddy Roger
Hello.
dig up the most god-awful football games in the history of civilization because I don't know why we do this. Because we hate you, listener.
We do. We hate you. We actually really hate you this week because we have an extra special bucket of crap I came for you.
Bucket of crap of a game? What does that mean?
You know what I'm trying to say, okay? It's a bad game.
You know, it's appropriate for us to have a podcast about things that suck because we're 400 episodes in and
Who even knows?
we have no idea how to start a show. Anyways, yes. Game 96, 249. Raj, this is the one you've been waiting to get around to for a long time.
Yes. Normally I'd be worried about overselling one of this, but this one is good. This is better than the typo game.
No, dude, nothing's better than the typo game.
A picture depicting the typo game appears on the screen.
For anyone who hasn't heard it, you can go back in our archives and find the episode. I think it's just called Typo Game. Basically, and I'll make it this quick because I don't want to spoil too much, but basically they were drawing up the rules for a long distance game. The field dimensions had typos in them. And they ended up with a field that was 1 yard long and 1,000 yards wide. And they'd already filled the game permit, so they had to play it. Good times.
Great times. Amazing times.
And I'm going to disagree with you. Today's game is not as dumb as the typo game, but it's super dumb.
Fair enough.
So, set the scene for us here.
Okay. So the story starts about 13,000 years ago in March 4730.
Super old game.
Super old game, which you can tell it's so old because the game number is 96249. Back when they just gave a registered football game to the lowest available number. This was before they went like, fuck it, and just started using the numbers. Anyway.
An image shows on the screen depicting Mexico on the left with the words New Mexico written on it, and Canada on the right with the word Washington written on it.
Washington and New Mexico decided they wanted to play a long distance game between two states, right? And they wanted to get cute. So they sorted of a hybrid of old football rules and new football rules. But of course, new football rules, that the field of play was exactly 2,340,000 yards long.
Obviously, the field wasn't actually mowed or painted or anything. There was a sensor in the ball that buzzed whenever you went out of bounds. So if you hit the sidelines, dead ball.
Yes. One goal line was Washington-Canada border, and the other was the New Mexico-Mexico border. But it's tough to draw a field on a map because the field was standard football width, 50-130 yards.
The screen pans to the game on the ground, showing a small green line through the desert.
So as a result of these dimensions, okay, a standard old football field is about twice as wide as it is long, right? Well, if you do the math, and we did do the math, it turns out that this field is 43,878 times as long as it is wide.
And what made this game different from other long distance games is that, when you have a field that covers 1,300 miles, it's probably a good idea to have lots and lots of players. Ideally, a few hundreds. We can agree on that.
We can agree on that.
They did not. They kept it to the standard football roster, 11 players on the offense and 11 on the defense, which is completely insane.
Right, because for one, it's exhausting. especially if an offense sustains a drive for miles and miles on end. For another, what happens if you blow coverage and a receiver gets past secondary? And what if that receiver is the fastest player on the field?
Right. If the ball carrier has outrun all 11 of you, what's left to do? At that point, it's not really a football game anymore. It's like a mix between a super marathon and the camping trip.
It's bad football. Nobody wants to play it, nobody wants to watch it. Washington and New Mexico are banking on this not being a big deal because they feel their play was so narrow. So the good news is, if a player does get past your secondary, you don't have to look all over creation for them. They're going to have to stay inbounds. So the only question is how far they've outrun you.
The screen shows another angle of the line, seemingly coming out of the camera into a valley.
It was quaint. And we have talked about this 100 times, but I can stand quaint in this game design.
And obviously, you and I stand pretty far apart on this. I like weird. I like it when the games get weird.
And I do too. That's the thing. I do too. I just need to be a series of something, I see weirdness and the sort of component and accent like a seasoning, Not a means that and not a goal.
You're purist.
I am purist. Look, anyone can design a weird football game, but I demand some elegance, some real thoughts behind it.
Okay, but why?
What do you mean, why?
It's not as though you're pressed for time. You've got all the time in the world for what you like and what you don't.
Listen, even if I have 1,000,000 years.
Even if you have 1,000,000,000,000 years.
Even if I have 100 trillion years or more, that doesn't change the fact that I just spend all the day watching shitty games. Time I could have spent watching a good one.
We're forever going to disagree on this, I think. But I think an argument could have been made that in some respect, game 96249 did have some elegance to it.
The camera moves forward, and as a mountain is passed, the field of line can be seen extended across the desert.
I have to admit, I really did. A field 53 yards wide that goes to Mexico to Canada is, on its face, ridiculous. But I will happily admit that it can find the strangely brilliant in a way. It's hard to imagine much more geographical diversity than what this game has. There's plenty of opportunities for some good mountain footballs in Idaho. Plenty of big lakes to navigate. And then when you go south in Utah, there are these big salt flats. There's just nothing there. It's like playing football in the whole bunch of nothing. And then, of course, you've got desert in Arizona.
And scattered throughout. You've got a little bit of farmland and a few small towns. What I love about this field, at least in theory, is that it forces you to just march forward into all of the geography head on. With most longest distance game, there aren't really any defined sidelines, or at least they're really wide. So if you see a mountain or a lake, you go around it. But not here. You've only got 53 yards to wiggle room. So just have to grit your teeth and go.
And that brings us to your favorite thing.
Lord.
Water bowl. There are a few decent sized chunks of this field that are nothing but water. For example, if you look at there's one revisor in Idaho that just kind of swallowed 2.5 miles of the field.
An image appears on the screen of the field line cutting through a large lake in a valley or a canyon.
So this is how that went down. Washington had the ball at the north coast of the reservoir. They threw it deep into the water. The ball just kind of plops and it flows on the surface. But the ball's still live, right?
It didn't touch the ground.
Right. What ground? Had touched the ground. So what you are left with 2 miles made scramble off for the ball? It's live ball the whole time.
And this is where I'll agree with you. I've watched the replay. This play is exhausting to watch. It's just like 4 hours of splashing around and aimless laterals. It's trash football.
And there were a lot of this too. In the 90s, they were building dams all over the place. So of course, you end up with all these giant bodies of water in the middle of nowhere that have to business being there.
But that aside, I really do love certain pieces of that field. I really do. Up in the mountains, you can tell they kind of tried to position the field so it ran along the ridges, but just to make it a little bit easier. But in other parts, it's just ka-chung, ka-chung, all up and down.
The camera pans across a mountain range where the field line is forced to move along with the hilly pattern.
This would go on for miles and miles, actually hundreds of miles. I mean, as a football fan, would I want to watch this? No.
Hell no.
Hell no, I wouldn't want to watch this, but I would love to read about it. It's like baseball.
There was also an element about this you were talking about before, that show that I just loved.
Which one was that?
Oh, with the names of all the...
Yes. So, I love the juxtaposition of all the natural beauty, you know, the magnificent horizons, the beautiful mountain ranges, etc., with these unbelievably shitty names people gave everything. like, oh, here's a town next to a bunch of water. Let's call it Big Water. Oh, hey, here's some meadows. Let's call it Meadows. Oh, look, it's some more meadows over here.
Ah, shit. Meadows is taken. What do we call it?
New Meadows.
Yeah, Meadows is too crowded. There's like 50 people in it. Time to build a new one.
My favorite, though. My favorite is, what was it?
Stageplay?
Yeah, Circleville. I guess because it's got a bunch of crop circles.
Yeah, but like, there are a million of places in the country with the crop circles. You don't get to be Circleville just because you have 12 of them. It's like if you just call your city ground.
The screen shows an overhead image of Circleville with the field of line passing closely by.
It's funny because, you know, you look at Los Angeles and it's like, oh, City of Angels, that's a cool name. Or Cincinnati, named after a Roman general or whatever. Chicago comes from a Native American name for a local plant. But this guy in this part of the country was just like,
There's some circle. We are Circleville now. Fuck it. It doesn't matter. I'll probably be eaten by a beer tomorrow. There's just nothing so darkly funny about these games. I mean, just the piece of it is so frustrating. An offense would spend a week just trying to get over one mountain, turning over the balls on downs, getting it back, fumbling, getting it back, just crawling up an executionary pace, and they are executed. And they throw a pick, and boom. Defensive back runs in a mile backward, and it was all for nothing.
or shit, 500 miles even. There was...
Actually, I should not hear that you were allowed to use the motor vehicles as long as you didn't have the ball. So it wasn't like the game over once a player ran it back like that. You could catch up with them. You just had to grab a car and go looking for them.
And that could take a while. At one point, a Washington player managed to sneak downfield from outside Spokane all the way to Utah. And he only got caught because he just ran out of places to hide. And I mean, this is where we really get into how much of a torture chamber this game is. The drive chart is just, it's an absolute goddamn nightmare. And if you turn off the game and turn it back on in a year, the line of scrimmage might be like 50 miles away from where it was.
And that's really nothing. That's no movement. 50 miles is nothing when you consider, first of all, the field is like 20 times longer than that. And second, it might move 50 miles the opposite way the next year.
And that, Roger, sets the stage for maybe one of the most frustrating things I've ever seen as a football fan.
Same. Oh Lord, same. You wanna?
All right. So it's now the year 5518. The game is now 788 years old.
They have been playing all this time.
All this time. For almost 800 years, the ball's been going up and down and up and down. And usually very, very slowly. It's so hard for either offense to build the sort of momentum that would allow you to drive, even 100 miles down the field.
But Washington is finally doing it.
Yes, and they finally made it into Arizona. It's just something clicks. They're in the desert, ripping off huge plays, half a mile run, quarter mile pass, just boom, 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 one after another. And then they just fell off a cliff.
That's really fun to say because, we are always figuratively saying, oh, They fell off a cliff, like their friends stalled out of something. No, they fell off a cliff for real.
The screen pans over the field line to show it takes a sharp dive into a cliff.
Washington literally fell off a cliff and into a gorge. So they've got another cliff staring at them in the face. They turn the ball over on downs, but of course now New Mexico turns around and sees the other cliff side staring at them. The game's stuck.
Right. They can't just run around the side of the cliff because that would be out of the bounds. They can't climb up because it's 300-yard vertical free climb, which is something you can only complete if you are one of the best free climbers on the earth. And it's impossible if you haven't got 11 people right behind you who can just grab you by your ankle and yank you back down.
So on this field that's more than 2 million yards long, these two teams are stuck in this little speck of 250 yards.
So
how
did this happen, Thuy?
There's really no satisfying explanation. This game was on the drawing board for years and years. They surveyed every bit of it, and they'd always intended for the field to pass through just slightly west. This was kind of the crown jewel of this game. The rock faces were more forgiving there because there was this valley that sort of fed into it. It still would have been the most challenging part of the field, but it absolutely would have been doable.
The screen shows a wider view from the top of the cliff. The field line is seen briefly before plummeting into the gorge.
I'm calling shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because look, we know how meticulously they planned this game. We know how important the sport was. An entire committee spent years planning this. How could they possibly have messed that up by accident?
Well, if somebody knows, they're not telling.
Maybe one day we'll find the answer. In the meantime, this game is still in progress. It's one of the oldest and the longest running games in Arizona, and in year number 12,258, it's still going strong. And if you were ever an explainable urge to watch 22 players duke out to no apartment end of the bathroom of Kenyans, you can always see it yourself. Football channel number 96429.
I would rather do anything else in the world, but we have a mystery on our hands. Why is the field lined up wrong? Simple mistake or sabotage or what? If anyone out there has any info that will help us crack this case, shoot us an email. We'd love to talk to you.
Help us solve greatest, dumbest mystery of our time.
So that does it for this episode of Garbage Football. We'll be back on Tuesday, and don't forget, premium subscribers get a bonus episode on Friday. I'm Thuy.
And I'm Roger. Peace.
The screen shows one final look at the field line, parallel to the field at the bottom of the gorge. Thuy and Roger pack up their podcast station and move out as the lights on them dim. End of scene 6.